Alright, so here's the storage unit. I rented another storage unit, so this is all car stuff, so I could try to put this car together. Alright. Alright, here's the new fuel tank as I unboxed it. And it came with some gaskets, some nuts, another rubber gasket, and a fuel sender unit lock. I will be putting a Walbro in this, in the whole car overall, so I decided to just get a whole brand new gas tank too. I think it was like 80 bucks off 1A Auto on eBay. The gas tank that's on the car right now has been on the car for, I don't know, 7 or 8 years without any gas ran through it. And for the price tag of this, it was just easier just for me to get a whole new tank. I don't care about dealing with the old one. What I am going to do though is this is painted, or it's some kind of coating at least. You can see on the little caps they put on some of these and they sprayed it, which was nice of them. I'm going to be throwing just some rubberized undercoating on all around this thing, as I'm going to be doing the fender wells and everything else over time for the build. I figured just kind of help it last a little bit longer underneath the car. Garage Build Honda's got a great tutorial on how to drop the tank and change the fuel pump. So first I'm just going to flip it over, spray some kind of wax and grease remover, degreaser, something to... I remember using some Duplicolor rubberized undercoat. There's all kinds of different brands. Just like painting anything, I'm just gonna do a light coat. Ooh, I say light coat. Guess if you're gonna use this, FYI, comes out pretty heavy. Masked off the other side and alright, so it's been 2 days. Gas tank is dry. I don't know if it's gonna come through or not, but it's got a very light like little rhino line, raptor line effect. Nonetheless, it's better protection than it already had. So now in the old tank, I just loosen this up. The actual fuel sending unit, just gotta knock it left counterclockwise. A little groove. The kit came with a new one. Started to peel these. I'm going to just take all these off and put them on the new tank. I'm going to secure them just with some black weather strip gasket adhesive. Just put a little strip underneath it, just kind of has a little adhesive to hold it to the new tank. And pull each one of the lines off one by one. I'm going to wipe them down with some degreaser, WD-40, whatever, just to kind of clean them up a little bit and put them on. All right. Alright, so the fuel tank has got everything on it except for the fuel pump. So here's where I'm going to... Here is the Walbro kit that I got. Here's everything that came in it. Obviously minus the tools. I also bought a fuel pump relay kit from Xenocron. So it's got 12 gauge wiring. I'm going to wire up that fuel relay. This wiring that came with the Walbro is 12 gauge already. So it's perfect. So this is the way I'm going to do it. Some people may not do it this way, but here's your fuel pump outside of this is the original fuel pump. If you look at the power in the ground goes right up there to that Phillips head. So I'm going to just disconnect that. If you notice, the positive wraps around. There's a little plastic boot that you'll need to take off, and it just screws up right there. Now it comes up through here. Mine broke a little bit. I was trying to get into it. The plastic top broke off, but that'll work out for me. You can see where it kind of comes up through there. There's the wire, power wire, and it goes through the line, blah, blah, blah. So what I'm going to do is remove the pump, put the Walbro on, route the red wire. I'm going to actually solder it to a connector, put it here just like the stock system. And then on the top, I'm going to route the 12 gauge wire from here out the line, and I'll leave it excess, and we'll get to that once we get into the car. And I'm gonna hook the ground up to where the ground hooks up on the fuel pump. All right. All right, so since I bought my Walbro for a CRX, it might be for other kits that come with the same similar stuff, but You grab this little adapter, you will stick it on the bottom, like so. This little guy's gonna be like a little buffer, I guess, kind of for vibrations, and it kind of just pushes it up a little bit. Your stock one had one too. Now, once this is on there, grab your hose, which I already kind of cut down. They give you plenty of hose. Mount her up. I'd recommend maybe sliding the hose on first. You'll see the little rubber piece will kind of just line up. As you see, mine's kind of got a gap now. I can just kind of lower that hose a little bit, just to sort of get it a little bit more stiff. Well, that's it. You'll get the idea. You should get the idea, and you'll see when it's together. Alright, so I've got it all on loom, so I'm going to, again, loom it. So here's the power wire. I kind of just ripped the wire off of the original plug. I'll be honest, I think I could probably just drill that out and put a some kind of a new fitting on there, but it was easier for me just to rip the old wire off, solder the new 12 gauge on there, and that goes all the way down to just the ground at the current moment. There's the plug. The power wire wraps up around, plugs into the original factory location, just it's been upgraded with a thicker cable. And the ground, same thing. Fuel tanks all together again. Glued all the new pieces on. Here's the new wiring wrapped around. I decided to relume it too. I need to put that back on back there, but I decided to relume it, heat shrunk it. And yeah, so next up I'm gonna put it up in the car. And once it's in the car, I'm gonna route the red wire's already coming through. It's a little shorter than the ground. I will then wire up the relay up inside the car, since I've got plenty of room here to come up inside the car and work. Alright, so here I've got the connections coming back up. I routed everything back to the grommet. This wire here that's coming through is the power from the fuel pump and the ground that I also ran, which might be a little overkill, but whichever. That's going to come out here. It's going to split, and I'm running it to a ground here, which is also the battery ground. Now if you look, here's the fuel pump sending unit wires, or sorry, the sending unit, just telling the gauge like basically what the fuel level is in the car. It's all plugged back into the original plug still, but if you look, I cut off the original that actually tells the fuel pump that, you know, the original 2 wires that were there, and I loomed them, and they are now here, which are going to go to the relay. So this is going to be a little bit different than some people maybe, but I'm routing all of my stuff into the actual cargo compartment inside the car, including the battery. That's going to be an Odyssey battery. So let me put that into the car real quick, and I'll kind of show you how it's going to be rigged up. Some of the wires are a little longer than they're going to need to be, but they're that way on purpose. That way I can kind of move around in the future and just see what I got to end up doing. But this will definitely get me to where I need to be for now. First thing, this is the power cable for me for right now, or sorry, the ground cable for me right now. We're just going to ditch it. And the power cable, I need to solder a connector to it. So all I'm worried about at the current moment is I've got my power wire from the fuel pump, and I've got my stock harness, positive and negative. All right, so here's the connector. I've already done 2 of them. What you're gonna wanna do is throw your wire up through the little grommet, up through the connector, put your heat shrink on already, and then actually crimp the connector to the wire, and then I'm gonna solder it, and then you'll push the cable back through. So again, when this is gonna go through it, when you're looking at the plug, it's gonna be negative from your stock harness on the left, positive from your stock harness on the right. The bottom is going to be power wire from the battery. Top is going to be fuel pump positive. Alrighty. Alright, so once it's all wired up, this is what it's going to look like. My positive and ground are still over here. I'm not running the battery at the current moment. But here's the relay. All the wires plugged into it. There's the inline fuse from the positive from the battery to the relay, and that should be it, and you should be good to go. Alright, so here's where the build's going to resume from. It's a little tight. making what I have work here. Everything's pretty much in here that I need. There's still some pieces that I'm missing for the car. I don't know exactly what they are, to be honest with you, until I assemble it. In the meantime, next on the list is going to be doing the JP tuned fuel tuck kit that just came in. I just put the fuel tank in, the fuel tank, the fuel pump relay, and the new Walbro. What I did buy, there was a, call it a deal, call it not, I don't know. It's $1,500. I threw it in the stand and kind of took it apart. I didn't really record much of it, but I just re-lubed it up. It is a CSS GSR block with, he said Wiseco 11.7. I couldn't find any Wisecos that were that compression ratio. Now it does have a B16 head that is in that crate down there. That's got an entire Skunk 2 valve train. It's got their springs, retainers, LMAs, and he gave me a set of GSR cams. He claims he made like 800 horse on it. I'm not saying he didn't. The only thing I could find wrong with it, and it's nitpicking, there's a little bit, you probably won't be able to see it, but there is a light bit of surface rust on the top of the cylinder walls. I took a light, just some WD-40 and just a cloth to see if it'd come off. A good chunk of it did. $1,500. I don't know if it was a good deal or not. Some may think it is in their area, some may not. Didn't really need it, as I have everything here to put together my motor, but I decided with that, either I can build a backup block, or I can maybe even just run it the way it is, but I'm going to build mine and put mine in the car for everything that I've been getting pieces for. Another thing that I did notice was I did not dent out the frame rail back here. I don't care that it's painted, no one's really going to see it, but I did not bang out over here. Totally biffed it, totally forgot about it. The area over here I did, which I needed room for the Jackson Racing Charger that I used to run way back. I know some people can run under the alternator and push a little forward and it fits. I don't know what I'm going to do yet. That'll take it one day at a time here. I think next, now that the fuel pump and everything is in and the new tank, I have some orders that are still coming in. I think next up, honestly, might just be putting together the motor, get it in the car. So after that, I can then do my wire harness. I'm going to do it the same way that I kind of did the fuel tank with the pet loom and some new wire. Same way I did the wire tuck. After that, that's probably about it. My Skunk 2 Alpha half-size radiator came in. My ATI super damper came in. I'm choosing to run the street version as opposed to the race. Why? Maybe one day if it ever goes in a different car, more options. I will drive this car way more than, I'm not gonna say it's a daily because there's no heat or no AC in it, but I'm gonna drive it, and I know there's some underdrive issues with it, and I don't need to worry about a battery situation considering I already have a tiny Odyssey battery. So that's why I chose that pulley. After that, I don't think I'm missing anything else. That's a turbo kit, but I'll probably drive it around NA, break it in like that. All right, well, I guess I will continue this build, and hopefully the rest of you guys follow me along and enjoy it.